The internet is chock full of reviews and reactions making fun of bad movies, and most would argue that it's probably the most prominent form of reviewing on the YouTube platform, or at least it's what makes the most impact.
The worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
They're fun, useful, and popular for a reason, but there's also definitely a need for that lesser-treaded examination of the positives and merits of weird, bad, or divisive media. Not to, be cute or ironic or anything, but to try to dig in and figure out not just what may have provoked a negative response in the first place, but also to figure out what made the people who do like it respond positively, when the majority of critics and audiences didn't. Second Chance is a show that gives things a, second chance, using moderately extensive research and an informal persuasive essay style to look at media concepts, and characters that are generally or universally considered bad, disappointing, or just divisive in some way, and coming at it with a positive view. Not necessarily apologizing for it, because some things are really pretty bad, but having a hopefully interesting discussion about how these things can contribute to the overall media conversation. There are larger questions this show seeks to examine. Why would people who like this like this? How might this make a meaningful impact on the world, whether through emotional connection to its audience, or simply within the scope of its art form? What was the intention to make this, and what type of messages were the creators trying to convey? Even if the execution was flawed, are those messages still there at its core? After all, most creative people aren't specifically trying to make something bad, so what were they trying to do? These are just a few of many questions that we'll be examining throughout the series. Sometimes it's media I genuinely consider art that's misunderstood by critics or the culture at large. Other times it's something I myself don't really like or enjoy, but it's a fun experiment to try to identify standout elements or understand the creator's intent, or simply look at something academically within the grander scope of media analysis or art criticism when it's otherwise overlooked in those areas. Either way, it all falls under the umbrella of figuring out why and how what we're looking at could actually be good. So what's the point? Well, for one, it's just fun to do that kind of stuff, but also we all have different perspectives and opinions, especially when it comes to the art that has defined certain parts of our lives. It's easy to say Spider-Man 3 sucked, but it's a lot more enlightening to figure out what about it might appeal to the audience who does like it, even if they aren't the majority, and what the creators were trying to convey, even if they didn't necessarily succeed. It's always worth trying to connect to people who have differing opinions, perspectives, and expectations regarding art, and it's especially interesting to identify how it reflects what our culture expects or wants at any given time, all of which are things that can help us learn a little bit more about ourselves and our own tastes and perspectives along the journey. So let's dive in with an open mind, have fun, and give some of our old punching bags another shot.